Hey kids, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to be teaching you the third level first chapter of the Vistas book. So I just watched the summary and then the whole explanation of the chapter, and now I'll teach it to you. So grab your Vistas book if you need it, otherwise any side books, reference books that you have, or you can just use your brain and ears, that are enough as well. So those are enough as well. Now the third level, this is the NCRT book. Open it. The chapter is not that long, and it only consists of main, you can say, the main theme, that is escapism from reality, refusal to accept reality. I have my premium notes here, my NCRT, as well as my all-in-one English course. It is a very big book. I'm also studying this and this. So first I'll read this one and then I'll read the premium notes. Follow along. Okay. So basically, this chapter is not that lengthy and it is very simple if you try to understand this, and if you try to feel this chapter, it is really very easy. Okay, so the author of this chapter is Walter Braden and Jack Finney. It's one person only. Okay, you can say Jack Finney. It's written in your book as well. And he's an American writer, mainly known for his contributions to the science fiction genre. You don't have to focus on this. So now I'm going to tell you the main goals that you have to keep in your mind while studying this chapter. You have to know the chapter, and have to know the character sketch. Summary of the chapter is very important. Keep it in mind. Now, your practice goal, whatever. So basically, let's start with the summary. Now, the third level conveys that the life of modern man is full of insecurity, stress, worries, war, etc. He is unable to cope with the challenges of a modern life. When he cannot cope with the harsh realities, he wants to escape into a fanciful world. What do you mean by fanciful world? So basically, what all we dream of, what all we fantasize about, and what all we wish we had, or when you wish to live in, like for example, I like beaches and I want to live near a beach. So that's my escape from reality. So sometimes I also daydream and I forget about the world, I forget about where I'm sitting, and I just daydream about these things, and I actually feel very good. Even though I'm not there, even though I'm not experiencing the beach waves or anything, I am in my room, but still I can escape mentally. So that's what fantasyful world is, and that's the same case with Charlie, but it is on a different level for him because we just fantasize and then we come back to reality, right? But he is like, okay, we will come to that later on. Okay, he tries to find a level of existence that will provide him peace, happiness, and tranquility. In the story, the modern man is Charlie. Now, the narrator and the protagonist of the story is Charlie. Now, he who reaches the third level while taking the subway for his home. Now, you won't be getting the whole context right because you haven't studied the chapter yet. Now, if you are able to, that means you are ready for your boards. So basically, what we mean here by third level is, in the subway, in the Grand Central Station, there are only two levels. The residents of the Grand Central Station know that there are only two stations there, two levels only. But Charlie is the person who somehow reached the third level. And when he came back from there, I'll tell you from there later on this when we're discussing the summary. So when he came back from the third level, he was telling everyone that there's a third level, but nobody was believing him because everybody, including the people who live there near or in the Grand Central Station, they were telling him, no, we know that there are only two levels. So, okay. Charlie looks for the third level again, to escape and run away from the harsh realities of life. The third level is a mysterious world, and that is somewhere between our unfulfilled desires, expectations, and dreams. So basically, when you have to write about the themes or theme of the chapter, and what when you have to talk about, you have to explain what you learned or what do you understand from this chapter. So basically, the thing is that the third level is a, what is the third level? Why did Charlie experience something like a third level? So it's just very simple. It is a mysterious world, and it is somewhere between our unfulfilled dreams and desires, expectations and dreams. Right? I said dreams twice. Okay. About the characters, now we'll learn about the characters. There are three characters only in this whole chapter: Charlie, Louisa, and Sam. Who is Louisa? Louisa is Charlie's wife. Sam is Charlie's psychiatrist friend. So let's read about Charlie first. How old is Charlie? A 31-year-old daily commuter who accidentally arrives at the third level of Grand Central Station and experiences a whole new world. So Charlie is the narrator. He is the person who experiences third level. Louisa, she's Charlie's wife who was worried about her husband's coming late. So coming late, we'll come to that later. Sam, Charlie's psychiatrist friend who serves a proof for the existence of the third level at the Grand Central Station. Alright. Let's come to the summary of the chapter. Now I have this book summary and my notes summary, and I'll teach both of them to you. First, let's come to the book summary. Waking dream, wish fulfillment. Once again, waking dream, wish fulfillment. What do you understand by this? It means when you dream about something with your eyes wide open. Now, Charlie feels that there are three levels at the Grand Central Station Railways. In reality, there are only two. He has discussed this with his psychiatrist friend. Remember the name? Sam Vinier. Sam felt that the narrator's experience is a waking dream, wish fulfillment. According to him, Charlie is a modern man who is suffering from the modern day insecurities, anxieties, and fears. So, he wants an escape from his stressful life. Sam added that the narrator's hobby of stamp collection is his temporary refuge from reality. The narrator does not agree with this interpretation. Charlie feels that there are three levels at the Grand Central Station. In reality, there are only two. He has discussed this with his psychiatrist friend. Who has discussed this? Obviously, Charlie, who's the one who experienced this. He discusses this experience with his psychiatrist friend, Sam. Now, what does Sam have to say about this? Sam says that this is a waking dream, wish fulfillment, and he describes Charlie and what he might be experiencing because of his personality. So he also describes Charlie's personality. What is it? According to him, Charlie is a modern man who is suffering from the modern day insecurities. He is suffering from the modern day insecurities, anxieties, and fears. So he wants an escape from his stressful life. Sam added that the narrator's hobby of stamp collection. Now, what is stamp collection and why is it being mentioned here? Now, the narrator, Charlie, is already having an hobby of collecting stamps. And he describes that people who often have such kind of, hobbies apart from their jobs and everything, they usually have this kind of hobby because it brings them, you know, a little, you can say a little kind of thing that, like, it brings them a little away from their reality. So he's already a person who has a job, right? And now it means he's not enjoying his job that, because that is why he's having a hobby of collecting stamps. Now this hobby isn't something that he just has, right? A lot of people in the world have this kind of hobby of collecting stamps. In fact, his father and his grandfather, Charlie's father and grandfather, both did this hobby. Oh, sorry, had this hobby of collecting stamps. Now he says that collecting stamps is a temporary refuge from reality for you. He says, who says this? Sam says this to his friend Charlie. Okay, so the narrator does not agree with the interpretation. So he does not, Charlie does not agree with Sam. He does not agree. Not because he just doesn't want to accept. Of course, he wants to find out why. How come he experienced something like the third level? That's why he's talking to a psychiatrist friend. Otherwise, he wouldn't have. He would have just, lived in a fantasy world. But no. So he refuses, and he then gives a counterpoint to this argument, this interpretation, as mentioned. The third level. Charlie came across. Okay, wait. I'll explain this first because it is mentioned in the book. He says that both my father and my grandfather, especially grandfather, who lived in Gilsburg, he lived a very peaceful and happy life. He wasn't stressful, and he still indeed have this kind of hobby of collecting stamps. So he was like, why would he have such a hobby if this is something that brings temporary refuge from reality? If just an escape from reality, why would he have such a hobby of collecting stamps? So was his counter opinion point, whatever you want to say. Now let's come to third level, the basic center of the story. Charlie came across the third level one summer night. One summer night, Charlie came across the third level in a hurry to get back home from his office. In a hurry to get back home, to his wife from his office. Okay, he decided to take the subway. So instead of the bus, he decided to take the subway because he didn't want to get caught up in traffic or whatever. So he took the subway because he thought it would bring him back home faster than the bus. So okay, he decided to take the subway. As he was going to the subway, he got lost. Now, as he was going to the subway, he went to the first level, then he went to the second level, and as you already know, the Grand Central Station is huge, and then many people have been lost there because there are a lot of corridors, there are a lot of rooms, and people often get confused and they often get lost there. So he first entered the first level, then he entered the third level, and then somehow he entered the first he entered the first level, and then the second, and somehow he was in the third level. Now let me explain. So he was going to the subway, he got lost. He got lost in the central station. He walked down a corridor. Then he found a corridor and he kept walking, and then he saw that there was like full blank. There was nothing, there was only dark, and there was not a single soul that he could sense. He could only hear his own steps. Full dark room. There was no light, there was nothing. He could not see anything. And that was when he found himself at the third level at the Grand Central Station. He passed the corridor. When he came out, he realized that he is in a different level. It is the third level. Okay. Now, the place that Charlie reached was different. It was something he had never seen before at the Grand Central Station. There were smaller rooms. Remember, there were smaller rooms. Means in the third and first level, there were bigger rooms. No, there were smaller rooms. There were fewer ticket centers. Okay, there were fewer ticket found windows. Ticket windows where you get your ticket, you buy them for your ride, for your train, whatever. So there were fewer ticket windows. What was the first thing that was there? There were smaller rooms, fewer ticket windows, and open flame gas lights there. Okay? The information booth was made up of wood, and everybody at the station was dressed up in the late 19th century fashion. But to be sure, the narrator got a copy of the newspaper The World, dated 11th June 1894. So these are the proofs, and these were the shocking things that he came across, and he realized that he was not in the time he belongs to, but he was in a different time zone. What were the things that he noticed at the third level that made him feel that he's in a different level? So basically, first he entered through a corridor. And once he passed the corridor, he came across. He entered the third level at Grand Central Station. Now he noticed that there were smaller rooms. There were fewer ticket windows, and everybody at the Grand Central Station dressed in the 90s fashion. 90s fashion. And one more thing was that the information booth was made of wood. Wood. Now, next, desire to go to Gillsburg. Charlie went to the ticket window to get 2 tickets for Gillsburg, Illinois. He wanted to go to this peaceful countryside of 1894 with his wife Louisa. However, the clerk at the ticket counter did not accept his currency bills. The clerk, the administrator, at the ticket counter at the third level, as the Charlie was asking for Gillsburg, Louisiana's tickets for 2 people, for him and his wife, but the administrator, the clerk, did not accept his currency. Okay. Sensing trouble, the narrator ran away. So basically, what happened is that the clerk said, you will have to face consequences if you're trying. Don't play smart with me. I will call the cops." And Charlie thought that I don't want to be in trouble. I don't want to go to the jail. So he ran away quickly. Okay. Now to get the tickets, Charlie took $300 and bought the currency of 1890. He came back, and because he wanted to buy the tickets, he changed his $90 to the old currency of 1894. Charlie then started looking for the third level but failed. After his wife pressured him, Charlie stopped looking for the third level and went back to stamp collecting. So he tried to look for okay. So when he exchanged money, he exchanged $300, but because of that he had to pay the president. No, it was something else, I forgot. Wait, it is in my training notes. Let me just check once. Okay, so instead of 300 rupees, he had gotten 200 rupees. You can see he got some tax or something to pay. That's it. Okay, moving on. Now his wife was stressing and pressurizing him. No, stop looking for a third level. There's nothing as such in this world. Stop looking for something like that. Stop wasting my time and yours also. So she was getting angry because Charlie loved his wife and she insisted that much. He stopped looking for a third level and he went back to his hobby of stamp collection. But after Sam's sudden disappearance, so right after, he stopped looking for the third level, he went back to his hobby. Suddenly, he came to know that Sam has disappeared. Now, Sam has disappeared. So, Charlie and his wife got the proof of the existence of the third level. So, they started looking for the third one again. Now, the proof. One day, while looking at his stamp collection, Charlie found a strange cover dated 18th July 1894. He was looking at his stamp collection. Suddenly, he came across an envelope and it was dated 18th July 1894. Mailed to his grandfather's address in Galesburg. The envelope contained a letter for Charlie by Sam. By Sam, guys. From 1894. From Sam? Seriously? To his grandfather? That's crazy. Okay. Who confirmed the presence of the third level and advised him to keep looking for it. Soon after, Charlie found that Sam had bought $800 to confirm that it was Sam only. He found out that Sam had bought $800 worth of old style currency This money was sufficient to set up a hay, feed, and grey business which Sam dreamed of. Sam is a qualified psychiatrist but cannot go back to his profession in Galesburg in 1894. So he did the business. Okay, that's the end of the chapter. If you want me to read out these notes as well, it will be long, but I'll tell you a few things. The themes and all. Author's purpose, tone setting. The author sees fantasy, science fiction elements. The tone is curious, reflective, often shifting between Charlie's insistence on the reality of the third level and the psychological, rational explanations offered by Sam. The setting contrasts the confusing, modern, and busy Grand Central Station with the quiet, peaceful past of Galesburg, Illinois. And themes and messages: escapism from modern stress, intersection of time and space, nostalgia for the past. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video where I'll be doing the next chapter of Vistas. Thank you. Until then, take care. Bye bye.